Continuing with the hardware elements, we're going to create the pipe clamp that goes along the side of the train and holds all the steam pipes. So we're still on the hardware layer from earlier. Let's save our file in case we didn't. Close out the layer manager. Left viewport. Zoom into that bolt that we have floating there, the nut and bolt. Let's move it a little forward. Just work out in this open area. Okay. We're going to start out with a sphere. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 times the size of that bolt. So let's just pull one out right here. That looks good. Okay. Let's make that 12 segments. That sounds good. Right click it, create an editable poly. Okay, let's go to perspective. Okay. Now these pieces, they're kind of just these little stems that have this decorative ball that a pipe runs through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the sphere. Make sure your angle snaps are on. If they're not, let's rotate that 90 degrees, just like that. I'm going to come down here to polygon sub-object level. Let's select the bottom polygons. Make sure you have them all. That looks good. Let's extrude those out with the extrude function. Right-click that value. I would say, just to be safe, maybe that's about 2 times the size of the sphere at the top. A little more than that. That looks good. I'm going to just check it. It's not an exact dimension. We're going to have to change this because of the angle along the side of the boiler. So some of the pipe will be further, some will be closer. So as a base, this is good. So we'll click OK. And now with that same group of polygons selected, let's roll up here and Control click to vertex. It becomes a vertex selection by hitting Control. And now we're going to make planar. And we're going to make planar along the z-axis, which is what we just did. Go back to polygon. Let's try bevel. Back out a little bit, zoom out, and you'll see when we hit bevel, that's what I expected. The default value is kind of high. We can right click that out. Right click this outline value as well. Again, whatever values you're adjusting show up in this little gray pill looking thing up here. So here we have the height. Here we have the outline. So let's first add some height. I think that looks good. And now the outline amount. I think that's good as well. So I'm going to say OK. There we go. Let's go up here. Let's add a turbo smooth. Hit T 3 times on your keyboard. Enter. Turbo smooth is on. Subdivides. It's a nice looking model, but it needs a little detail. So let's do this. Select this edge. Alt and R for a ring selection. Let's go to connect. 2 segments. Let's pinch that out so that one edge is very close to the ball at the top and the other is close to this transition area right here. Say OK. Let's do a ring selection on this set of edges right here and connect again. Let's shrink down the pinch value a little bit just because the area that it's covering is different, so the same value becomes tighter to the edges. It's just the scale of the span that you're using will influence that. Let's say OK, and that is OK. And let's once again turbo smooth. Okay, and that looks better. Now you can make this a square at the bottom if you want, or whatever shape. It's just a matter of moving some verts. I think for our purposes, this simple model looks good. And the other thing is with the pipe running through there, there would be an opening in there, but again, at viewing distance we're not going to see that. If you wanted that to happen, if you want to have a circular opening, you could simply go in, select a few polygons, delete them, cap them. We can do it. As a matter of fact, I'll do it. So let's do this. Select those polygons, delete. I'm going to select the border. I'm going to cap the border with cap poly right there. I'm going to select this polygon, the new polygon. I'm also going to turn on edge constraints. So Shift and X. And then I'm going to come up here to polygons and use the GeoPoly feature. There we go. And you can see that made a little circle. And now what I'll do is I'll inset that polygon. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Right click the value to zero it out, and let's just click a couple times. That looks good. Say OK. Once again, we can delete that polygon. Go to border selection, and we can shift drag that back a little bit. Turn off the edge constraints. That's why it got all wonky right there. So Shift X. Okay, and let's just turbo smooth it. And you can see right there that now we have the opening. And if you want to do this on both sides, you would do it on both sides and bridge that gap. Use the bridge tool between. And you'd have that circular opening. Again, I don't think this is necessary. The pipe can intersect and go through because this is going to be such a small piece in the grand scheme of things. Remember, poly count is important. Other people will work with your model sometimes, most times if you're working professionally. If it's a personal project, then for sure you can do whatever you want. You could even take this into ZBrush and sculpt little scallops on it if you want to. But for the purpose of working in production, you really have to weigh out the value of having a heavy model. So with that said, we're going to pause. If you want to do the other side with a circular opening, you can. I'm going to do that without the video running. And in the next video, we're just going to make some simple rivets that we're going to also place around the whole model. But first, let's rename this as a pipe underscore clamp -01. Let's save our file, and I'll see you in the next video.